All right, Bears fans, question of the day on another non-victorious Monday is this. Is it officially time to tank for a higher draft pick? Type T for tank, type D for don't. Are you embracing the tank? Because it might be on in Chicago. We'll break it down on today's show. Today's episode of Chicago Bears Now is presented by LinkedIn Talent Solutions. Post your job posting for free at linkedin.com/NFL Daily and use code NFL Daily. Grow your business, find the best people. LinkedIn going to help you do that. All right, is it time to tank in Chicago? I think it's a fair question. Now, let me just prelude this with coaches and players that play and coach don't tank. Now, do teams tank by playing younger players that don't give you the best chance to win? Of that sort, yeah, that could be something that happens. But Flus, Fields, these guys, they're going to try to win. Let's get that out of the way to start. There's no conspiracy where every player on the team is trying to lose because they're fighting for their careers. But the Bears have lost 6 of 7 games. They're now 3-7 on the year and currently sit with the number 6 draft pick for 2023. And you look at the records here, Houston at 1-7-1. You're not going to catch them because you beat them head-to-head already. So Houston would really have to rally and win some games here. Raiders now at 2-7 after losing to Jeff Saturday and the Colts. Carolina 3-7. Eagles have that pick from New Orleans as they're also 3-7. The Jags are 3-7. Bears 3-7. Seattle has that pick from Denver. Detroit has that pick from the Rams, and then the Texans via the Browns. Those are all 3-6 teams, and then the Steelers at 3-6 as well. You look at these records, top 3 pick is very much in play. I mean, it is possible that the Bears could end up with a top 3 pick. Now, I still think Chicago is going to win a couple games here because the quarterback, Justin Fields, continues to make strides and play well. Like, eventually they're not going to give up 30-plus points and they're going to win a game or two. But it's also possible this team only wins like 2 games the rest of the way. They go 5-12. That's probably going to land you a top 5 pick, hell, maybe even a top 3 pick. You look at the biggest needs for this team right now, and it's all over the place. I don't know if I would order it like this, but I think in the trenches on both sides, that's a major priority. Offensive line still needs work. Defensive line, edge, and defensive tackle all need work. I still think you need help at receiver. Obviously, it's early on Chase Claypool, but even if he's solid, him and Mooney, you need more beyond that. You need 1, if not 2 more guys. Cornerback. Listen, Jalen Johnson entering the last year of his contract next year. I know he's playing hurt right now, but he hasn't been as good recently. They're going to have to make a decision on him. Kendall Vilder, you're going to need another corner at least. Linebacker, I feel good about Jack Sanborn. I think he can at least be a rotation, maybe starting type, but you're still thin there for the future. You got needs all over the place. I mean, you could even argue that you could use another tight end, that you could use another safety, depending on what happens with Eddie Jackson after this year. And by the way, some of those position groups, you need more than 1 player. Offensive line, multiple guys. Defensive line, multiple guys at tackle and edge. You have needs all over this roster. The argument for tanking is you move up in the draft, gives you versatility to get better players or trade down for more picks, gives you that option if you are the Bears. Now, if you want our draft content to increase, and if you want another mock draft this week specifically, subscribe to the channel. If we get 50 new subscribers on today's show, I've got the exact number of subs written down. It's 56,000 something. If we get 50 new subs, I will track this, and we will do another mock draft this week, probably on tomorrow's live show. So if you want more draft coverage here on Bears Now, if you want me to do another Bears mock draft as soon as tomorrow's live show, subscribe, and we will make that happen for you. But we need some new subs to show us that they are interested in already doing some more draft coverage. We will do some on this video today because some potential draft targets that you could look at if you do end up tanking and say end up with the top 5, especially top 3 pick. How about Will Anderson Jr., the edge out of Alabama? Now, you could argue he's the best prospect in this class. In fact, I would make that argument, as he's been terrific in his time in Tuscaloosa. Almost 200 career tackles, 55.5 tackles for loss. This is in 38 career games, by the way. 32.5 sacks and a forced fumble. He is terrific. He is so bendy. He can get off the edge. He's a freak athlete. I think he's the best player in this draft. But say you get the 3rd pick, he's in play because C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young could end up going 1 and 2. Jalen Carter, the defensive tackle out of Georgia. I mean, you could make an argument he's just as big of a type of need as a Will Anderson would be, because you need help on that interior as well. His stats don't jump off the page, but he's like a film guy. Like, you go watch him, he makes an impact every week. Every week. He's eating up blockers. He's drawing double teams. He can stuff the run. He can rush the passer just a little bit. Anderson and Carter are in play if you get the number 3 pick, maybe even the number 4 pick, because if the 2 quarterbacks go and then one of these guys goes third, if you're at number 4, you'll get the other guy. That's very much a possibility. And by the way, if both these guys are gone and you have the 3rd pick, teams are going to start calling for quarterbacks at that point. Hey, I got to trade up for Bryce Young. I got to trade up for C.J. Stroud. You hold that power if you're Ryan Poles. You trade down, get extra high draft pick capital. That is very much a good thing as well if you are Chicago. So that is why people start talking about tanking, because the higher you are in the draft, the more value you have as a football team during the draft. Now pick a player. Who would you rather have here? Will Anderson, the edge out of Alabama, type WA. If you'd rather have Jalen Carter, the defensive tackle out of Georgia, type JC. Both would be great fits. Both would fill huge needs for this team. I don't think you could go wrong either way. Now, the Bears are certainly going to hire new employees by drafting players in April, and you can hire the best candidates possible with LinkedIn Talent Solutions, as they allowed you to post your job for free in just minutes is how long it takes with LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 810 million people. Then you add your job in the purple hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring, so your network can help you find the right people here. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience, so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs will help you find the candidates that you want to talk to faster. Did you know every single week nearly 40 million job seekers seek out LinkedIn? Visit LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/NFL Daily. Use code NFL Daily to post it for free. That is linkedin.com/NFL Daily. Code NFL Daily. It is critical to hire the right people when you're growing your business. That's proven to be true here at Chat Sports. Early on, if we hired some of the bad candidates, I don't know if I'd have a job. I don't know if we'd be in business. That's just me being honest with you. Luckily, we were able to with LinkedIn Talent Solutions. LinkedIn.com/NFL Daily, code NFL Daily. That link and promo code in the description of this video. Let's go to the offensive line here. Peter Skoronski out of Northwestern. Probably the best offensive line prospect in this class. He's getting Rashawn Slater comps, obviously a fellow Northwestern guy who's had a great pro career, who also was viewed as a guard. Some view Skoronski as an NFL offensive guard. Now, our draft guru here at Chat Sports, Tom Downey, he tells me Skoronski's arms are going to be shorter than Slater's even. So it is possible he's a guard at the next level. We'll see. I would certainly like to give him a shot at tackle in the NFL, but even if he's just a very, very good guard, like, you need those too. Like, he's playing left tackle. Maybe he's your left guard. He replaces Cody Whitehair, who you could easily cut after this year to save some money. So we'll see what happens there. But local kid, hard worker, good player. I think he could be an option. Maybe not in like the top 3, but he could be one of those guys if you trade down, get an extra pick at 8 or 9, maybe you draft him there. Myles Murphy, the edge out of Clemson, who is having a terrific season for the Tigers. 10 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks, has a forced fumble as Clemson has another great defense this year. Again, you need players on that defensive line. You need guys who can get after the quarterback, because this team does not have a pass rush whatsoever. Brian Bresee, also at Clemson, the defensive tackle. If you haven't kept up with college football this year, he's had an emotional story, lost his sister to a brain tumor, and has put together a great season. Both these guys out of Clemson are great defensive line prospects, guys I would be comfortable taking in the top 10, maybe not top 5, but top 10. And obviously this prospect ranking stuff will change as we get closer and closer to April, but these are 2 stud players that should be top 10 picks. Now, what side of the ball should the Bears draft with their first pick overall? Not necessarily the number 1 pick. I don't think they're going to get the number 1 pick, but say they pick number 5 overall. Should they go offense or defense? Type O for offense, D for defense. You could type B for best available. I think, there's a lot of opinions out there on which side of the ball needs more help at this point. Bears offense is scoring 30 a week, but at the same time, they still have needs on that side of the ball, and certainly the defense needs lots of help. Now, obviously, there's a lot of chatter about receivers. They're kind of the flashy position that people keep an eye on during the draft. Obviously, the Bears could use more help here. I don't think any of these guys would go top 5. Maybe 1 or 2 sneaks into the top 10, but these are all guys that could go in the first round for sure. Quentin Johnston out of TCU. I think he's my favorite guy right now. Sure, I'm biased. I watch him every week, but 6'4", 215, yards after the catch, high points to football. He's really good. Jordan Addison, smaller guy, but he can play slot, play outside. Biletnikoff winner last year at Pitt, transfers to USC, having another big year. Big fan of him. Jaxon Smith-Njigba, he's kind of a wild card at this point. Does he still go very high in the first round? He's hardly played this year for Ohio State. Frustrating year for him with injuries. Could he go back to school like Chris Olave and try to reboost that, top 10, top 15 pick draft stock? That could be a possibility. Kayshon Boutte out of LSU. Some attitude question marks there. It seems like he's kind of righted the ship a little bit here, still regarded as a top 20 prospect according to Dan Brugler of The Athletic. So he's someone to keep an eye on. And then Josh Downs out of North Carolina, undersized but very explosive, having a very good year for the Tar Heels. Now, trading down for picks and then getting your wide receiver is certainly possible. Like I said, say you get the 4th pick. Trade down, maybe you have a pick at 12 and a pick at 18, and you get a receiver, then another player at those points in the draft. Because, yes, I'm certainly comfortable drafting someone in the top 5. There's great players there. But like I said, this team has several needs. If you get an extra first by trading down, that's certainly something you're going to have to consider if you are Ryan Poles. Now, you look at the remaining schedule for the Bears when it comes to do you tank, do you not tank? Look, you're 3-7. I mean, you probably got to go 6-1, right, to get back into the playoff hunt. You've got at Atlanta, at the Jets. I mean, still games I would consider winnable coming up, but you lost the Lions at home, so every game is obviously losable. Packers woke up this week. We'll see if that continues. They had a nice win over Dallas. Then you got the bye week. Eagles at home, Bills at home. That's obviously a very tough 2-game stretch, but you get them at home. You never know. At the Lions against the Vikings. Look, the point of this is the thought of tanking, especially with 7 games left, isn't an easy thought to compute. I mean, it's a tough conversation. I said it earlier. Players do not tank. I mean, how many guys are on 1-year contracts on this roster? I mean, a ton. They're sprinkled all over the team. They're fighting for their careers. They're fighting for their next contract, whether it's with this team or another one. So those guys are going to play hard. I promise you that. But maybe you do things like play Velus Jones Jr., who's been a healthy scratch. He was your 3rd-round pick last year. Get the young guy reps. Maybe he doesn't have a big impact this year, but that's a way of tanking without attempting to lose individually by the players. Play younger guys that could use experience. I will also say winning close games has value. So, I'm never going to be that guy this year that is bitching about winning if they win. Like, all these people who are like, yesterday was a perfect result. You can't tell me that Justin Fields leading the Bears down the field to get a game-winning drive wouldn't have been very valuable for this team moving forward. They got to win these close games at some point. And you talk about the quarterback as a whole, his growth has been fun to watch this year. Through 4 games, he was completing about 50% of his passes. Now he's up to 59%. The touchdown-interception ratio is in a much better spot, 12-7. His QB rating at 86.4. That was at 50 through the first 4 weeks. He's been over 100 since, so that's looking good as well. We know how incredible he's been as a runner. He is on pace to set the NFL record for rushing yards for a quarterback. He is now 6th in the NFL in rushing yards. He has been fantastic. I promise you this, that Fields doesn't want to tank. He wants to win every time he goes out there. He tells us every week, I don't care about my stats. I want to win. You can play it on a loop. He says it every single week. He's not happy about losing 6 out of 7. I can promise you that. So keep that in mind when it comes to the tanking conversations. These players, these coaches, they're trying to win, so we can't get pissed off if they do. But I'll ask you again, is it time to tank for a higher draft pick? Type T for tank, type D for don't. Let me know in the comments. And again, please subscribe to the channel. If we get 50 new subscribers on today's video, I will crank up a brand new Bears mock draft. So if you want that, if you want me to go through another mock simulation and see who the Bears could get next year, we will do that if we get 50 new subs. So hit that sub button, and we'll see you next time on Bears Now.